Always bet on the fastest horse. I'm sure you've heard this saying before, and in this case, the fastest horse in the Bitcoin treasury space right now is SWC, right, which is a smarter web company. So let's just start off with share price, right? You can see that they IPO'd here, and from the IPO bottom to the top is actually a 226x return, right, which is 22,651%. So that's actually insane, right, to 226x your money within a span of 2 months. So is the run over? Is it overvalued and stuff like that? Why am I still considering it even though it has run so hard, right? So when they listed here, actually they only raised around 2.5 million or 2-ish million dollars, and this market cap was actually 4 million, right, when they listed here. And now their 800 million market cap is actually in pounds, right? So what's my vision for this company? Judging by how fast they accumulate Bitcoin, I have no reason to doubt maybe this company can be a $10 billion company or $15 billion company in the not too distant future, right? Call it 1 or 2 years maybe. So when I take a look at this, actually it reminds me a lot of Metaplanet stock, right? And the early days of Metaplanet when I studied Metaplanet's early days. So the two tickers that we want to focus on is actually this TSWCF. This is the OTC ticker in the US, and 3M8, right? This is the German ticker in Germany, obviously. When we take a look at the most recent raise, are we getting a good value? Are we getting a bad value? Their most recent raise actually was 3.182 million shares at 3.25 pounds, right? So this raised about 10 million, and they are raising like 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, like 2 or 3 times every week, right? It's actually pretty insane to me when I take a look at it. So this SWC dashboard, depending on the website that you use, it's about a 6 to 8 times MNAV, right? So obviously it seems very, very expensive, but when you take a look at the days to cover means how many days does it take for them to cover this whole MNAV? It's actually just 30, right? Because why? When they are starting, obviously 1,000 BTC, they are now the whole company trading for maybe 6 or 7,000 BTC of value. So what this days to cover thing is trying to tell you is within 31 days at their current rate of accumulation, they will cover this 6 times MNAV, right? And basically they will trade back at a 1 times MNAV, right? Barring any increase in price, right? Obviously, if the price increases while they are buying more, also the MNAV might just maintain the same, right? So what's my thesis on SWC and am I buying, right? Actually, I've seen this stock since here, right? Even before this whole blow up, right? And because of this blow up, I decided I don't really want to buy it. And then there was very hard access, right? Because at that time, actually, the OTC ticker wasn't even listed. So I was trying to like sign up for a British exchange and stuff like that. And to no avail, right? Because I had a lot of issues and regulatory issues and I couldn't sign up, couldn't get my money moved there fast enough. So after this pullback, I actually found out that one of my brokerages had the US ticker, and this at this point it was listed on the US market. So I transferred some money over, but stubbornly I decided to not buy on the first day but my money is cleared, right? Because I think my money only cleared here and it was up like 26%, so I couldn't bring myself to do it and stuff like that, right? So even though what I'm buying actually is more expensive share price count wise, right, I finally decided, you know what, if it's 30 days to cover and I think the credit markets are going to allow them to raise the money, just bite the bullet and buy it, right? Even though it's a bit more expensive than I saw. But obviously my decision not to buy here was the correct decision. At a 20 times MNAV, I think it's a bit too risky, right? And that's why you saw this giant decline, right? But what my mistake was is that when it was running up, I should have just sent the money and prepared for it and not think like I've never have the chance to buy it, right? Because shortly after, if it crashed, I was willing to buy it at 200, right? But right now, maybe I have to buy at 350 or 330 or prices like this, right? So yeah, that's a bit of mistakes from me, right? So we live and we learn. So again, to finish my thesis on this, I believe we're still quite early, right? Because this company is only 2 to 3 months. Obviously, you missed out on some of these gains, and maybe it's a bit riskier here, right? Because it's 6, 7 times MNAV and stuff like that, right? But I think this is a risk I'm willing to take, and this might be actually the last Bitcoin treasury company that I will cover and I will also invest in myself, right? Because I feel like the space is starting to get crowded, so I don't want to leave when the party is already very crowded, because when the party is already very crowded, I also want to be selling out of some of these names, right? Or at least maintaining lower exposure, right? Right now, I'm taking up my exposure a bit higher with this because I feel like this is a very promising bet. So in the last point portion of this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the key things that you can keep track of in order to monitor your investments, right? Because I cannot be making so many YouTube videos and stuff like that. So number one is obviously this website, thesmarterinvestmentguy.com. Second is swc-.com. The third is obviously Twitter, right? There is a Smarter Web company, basically page or something, or community, right? So go and join things like this and just take a look, right? This is how I find some of my ideas, and this is how I keep up with all these things, right? And obviously follow SWC's Twitter page, because they will post every time they raise capital, every time they buy Bitcoin, they'll post it on their Twitter, right? So you can take a look at stuff like that. And then obviously this investors.smarterweb company, you can find it on their website, which you can track all these metrics, how much Bitcoin they hold, how much is the market cap, how much is the MNAV. These are all important metrics to keep track of. Lastly, maybe a few YouTube channels that you want to keep an eye out for is SWC and BTC. Adam Livingston, but this he covers a lot of Bitcoin treasury companies, right? So pick selectively, pick your own horses to bet on, right? Don't just buy whatever some YouTuber says, right? And the last maybe is Tim Kotzman, right? This Tim Kotzman, he actually covers a lot of Bitcoin treasuries, but it's long form content, and it might not always be the things that you want to watch, right? So maybe let's say you want to watch some things, you can see I skip out on some of his videos because I'm not really interested in those companies. I've already taken a look. I'm not interested at all in those companies. So the companies that I'm interested on, you can see maybe I might watch a video, might watch a podcast, and stuff like that, right? As for my personal positioning, I think this might be one of my bigger swings. I might be buying like 20% of my portfolio in SWC, and when it doubles, I will cut off half the position and let the rest of the capital ride until I feel like we're at the bull market high. So if I feel like we're early, why am I like cutting the capital in half? This is just capital preservation, right? Because with anything like this, you don't know what will cause this MNAV to shrink to 1, right? And if it shrinks to 1, and let's say Bitcoin goes down, you can easily be looking at 90% down on your money, right? But obviously we have a very short time frame where we are taking enormous risk, and then after that it's not risky, right? Because if it's 30 days to cover and every day they are buying so much, it's very low risk, right? Unless you are saying the day that you buy in, instantly all the Bitcoin goes down by like 50%, all the credit markets shut down, then unfortunately at that point you're just extremely unlucky, right? But barring those black swan events, I think this is still a high risk for the first 30 or 40, 50 days. And then after that, I feel like it's less risky, right? So yeah, that's about all I wanted to share in this video. If you did enjoy the video, do help me smash up the like button, hit subscribe, and also hit the bell button. So if you find my YouTube videos entertaining or informative, please do help me share it to a friend. This will help us grow the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.